5-year-old Dyson Davis, his mother wasn't sure how to react when she began noticing this. Her son wearing and playing with things that are not always associated with boys and are traditionally associated with girls. Dyson likes pink things, sparkly things, princess dresses, right, Dyson? Yeah, you do. Dyson's mom let her son be exactly who he is and celebrates it. She wrote a book, why don't you hold it up, Dyson, called My Princess Boy. There it is. They're showing it on the full screen there. It's called My Princess Boy to Promote Acceptance. Cheryl is here, Mom, along with Dyson. There's the book. And his brother, Jacoby, and the boy's father, Dean. There they are. Now, Cheryl, when did you first notice this?
Dyson was about 2 years old when he started having interest in all things pink, sparkly, pretty, really beautiful
And what'd you think?
I redirected, soft redirection initially because he was 2. So young, just kind of redirecting to trucks, trying to make it, a little more comfortable for me.
Yeah. And at what point did you think, wow, this is not something that's going to be redirectable?
At 2.5, we had a public display where at playtime they do dress up, and he showed up when I picked him up in a red sequins dress. And so my reaction was solve it mode. Mom, go to the store, get some dress-up clothes that are pretty for boys. So I got some karate outfits and band uniforms, and the next day he greeted me in a yellow dress. So I realized then it wasn't so much of a gender thing that I was putting it on. It was just things that he was interested in.
And Dean, did you react to this as well?
No, not at all. It wasn't a big deal to me. Kids, try all kinds of different things when they're young, and so it wasn't a big deal at all.
And my understanding, though, it was Jacoby that finally kind of stepped up, right, Jacoby? You were the one that kind of said,
yeah.
What'd you say?
Mom, why can't you just let him be happy?
That must have shot through you like a dart.
I will never forget that moment.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where people always talk about parenting and how you really need to listen to your kids. And it was this moment where Jacoby was tugging at me and saying, Mom, I was calling Dean. Dyson wanted to buy a dress for Halloween. I had never purchased a dress for him. And it was just that moment. And Jacoby said, why can't you just let him be happy? And at that moment, I thought, you know what? You're right. I'm teaching you. I'm modeling negative behavior. And that's not right for me to do.
And making him feel bad about
And making him feel
himself.
Miserable. Exactly.
Dyson, do you remember all that?
Yeah, I remember all of that.
And what did you think when Jacoby stood up for you?
And
When Jacoby said, let him be happy.
it made me feel happy, and I liked it because for who Jacoby is, and I like him because he likes me, and we like each other.
What kind of things do you like dressing up in?
I like dressing up in cinder. I like to dress up in different kinds of clothing, dresses.
Look at Dr.
There's apparently a J. Crew ad, and a J. Crew catalog, I guess, sparked a controversy. It shows J. Crew President Jenna Lyons painting her 5-year-old son's toes hot pink. Now, the ad has created quite a bit of stir. Someone called it an attack on masculinity. Cheryl, what's your reaction to that?
Well, based on the ad, it looks like a mom and a son having a good time. I'm really hoping that we can get to a place of acceptance. I mean, we've got to start accepting differences. There are children who have interests, and they may not make us comfortable, but difference equals discomfort. I mean,
and you mentioned, we all were talking, Dean and Cheryl and I were talking about his sort of culturally sensitive issues too.
Absolutely. In the African American community, I think, for us at least, it's one of those things where we all might know of someone, or, we think about all the boys that put on heels and put on earrings and things, and put on their mother's earrings and tried on their heels on the hardwood floors. We all know of that, and we all typically redirect. And so in our community, it's taboo to talk about.
And it's very controversial in the clinical community, too. They call it sometimes gender nonconformity. Did you ever hear that term?
I have heard that.
Yeah, and they think there may be some people believe there's a biological basis to this, and there probably has to be something going on. It's always nature and nurture. But what to do, and should anything be done? Did you ever seek professional help?
Absolutely. When it first started happening, and my husband really, we wanted to make sure Dyson was happy for who he is. And so we went to our doctors and went to psychiatrists and psychologists.
You were afraid that it meant dysphoria,
well,
like
the only
dissatisfaction with who he is.
Honestly, the only thing I heard in the media was gender confusion.
Right.
And so I didn't know that there could be any other reason to go on. And so we went through it, and Dyson actually coined the term princess boy. He's the one who said that, I'm a princess boy, Mom. And so the doctor said, the verdict was he's a healthy and happy little guy. He just loves to dress up and all things pretty. And they said not to over-encourage it, but not to over-discourage it either.
Dean, has this been a process for you?
Oh, that was enough for me. Again, when we are having children, my only thought was, I want my children to be happy and healthy. I don't need a carbon copy of myself. I don't need a sequel. The first version was just fine, played well, so they can have their own lives, for what they want to do.
What kills me is all the guys here in the studio. The guys are ringing in. Yeah, go Dean, way to go, man. That's a lot of unusual participation from my crew.
Well, I think fathers play a pivotal role in this. They're leaders of the household, and if your leadership is not accepting of you and welcoming you, you're leading down a path to later on not being able to have those open, honest communications with your children. They're not always going to be pleasant communications, just like other parts of your life. But if you don't have them and don't communicate, to me, that's a terrible path to put yourself on in your family, because you're not going to make anybody happy.
And really, health in a family is about your love and connection, which clearly you guys all have.
Yeah.
I worry about his peers, that them being as accepting as his family has been. You worry about that?
Well, absolutely. Any parent worth their salt is worried about anything to happen with their children, right? So, I think, our job, though, is to be a guide and to help them.